Can Yorozu take on the Mahoraga? Yorozu has proven herself to be one of the strongest sorcerers in Jujutsu Kaisen, but with the Mahoraga being the all-father of Shikigamis, many of us thought that, oh, this thing's just going to come out and then instantly murder her. While I do believe this is a tamed Mahoraga, I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as we expect it to be. Sukuna is currently in the process of nerfing himself, because he wants to sink Megumi's soul deeper into his body. And this is perfect for Yorozu, because she might actually have a shot now. Because Yorozu's curse technique is busted. This is one of the strongest curse techniques we've seen in the series, and it's really only limited by her understanding. She has a suspiciously high understanding of things for someone who lived 1,000 years ago. Which to me means the prerequisites of creating something with this aren't that high, or Sumiki's a genius. And I think this ability might actually make her the perfect person to fight the Mahoraga. Because the Mahoraga is strong, and exceptionally fast. This thing launched Sukuna across Shibuya, and before Sukuna had even recovered completely from being launched, the Mahoraga just appeared before him. So an untamed Mahoraga was keeping up with a 15-finger Sukuna who was trying his hardest to kill it. So the Mahoraga isn't just like, oh, I can adapt to anything. It is exceptionally powerful in stats. But Yorozu has the ability to create pretty much anything, at least theoretically. If anyone can pound the Mahoraga with multiple types of attacks in this series, it would be her. And the fact she's recreating the aspects of bugs with what looks like stingers, it wouldn't really surprise me if she could make poisons as well. Well, how is she going to handle the Mahoraga? Well, she's strong. Even if she lives from her jobbing, she'll live to job again to someone else, probably Gojo. Yorozu may be like the most obvious jobber I've ever seen. But as far as her Mahoraga fight is concerned, she is going to throw hands with this thing. There is zero purpose in having it be a wipe. Gege had zero reason of writing her formulate this giant armor and then explain their curse technique for her to just die in one shot to a buffed Mahoraga. She's going to trade blows with this thing because that's pretty much all she's here for, even if she lives. Because I don't know if Gege wants to release Gojo right now, and there's really nobody else that's going to survive a buffed Ten Shadows Mahoraga from Sukuna. It would just be a one-tap. Wherever Miwa and Yuta are off to right now, I just hope they felt the energy emanating from that giant fish and stay as far away as possible. Miwa right now, if she goes remotely near this area or like breathes in the general direction of a Mahoraga, she would be on the same fodder level as Inumaki's arm. She's likely to be taken out by like a stray piece of rubble. It would happen off screen and Yuta would just report it like, oh my god, we lost Miwa while I was out in Sendai. I just happened to stumble across a piece of rubble that had a very Miwa-like shape buried beneath it. It was truly a tragic event, but I also took her curse technique. Yorozu and Sukuna right now are probably wiping the verse, considering they are scaling directly to each other. Obviously, Sukuna isn't going full ham. I mean, he stopped to listen to Yorozu's conversation, and that's more than he does for most people. Because it's usually in your best interest to stay out of a 200-meter radius of Sukuna. And guys, Sukuna said it himself, he's test running the Mahoraga. If he didn't think that she was remotely strong, he wouldn't pull it out at all. He would just kill her with a super buff toad. When that thing comes out, it's going to be a bullfrog. It's going to be the giant frog boss from Dark Souls 2. I don't really think the fight between Sukuna and Yorozu is going to be very long. I have a feeling we're going to get 2 more chapters of it, but I really don't want 2 more chapters, I just want 1. Because this whole fight feels a little fillery to me. But my opinion on that could change completely depending on how cool the choreography against the Mahoraga is going to be. Because Jujutsu Kaisen has some of the best hand-to-hand combat in manga. That's why Akari vs Kashimo is so good. Because these two just punch each other the entire fight, and they only occasionally stop to explain an ability for like 3 panels, and then they immediately go back to punching each other in the face. And while we haven't really seen the Mahoraga actively punch people in the face, it is confirmed that Mahoraga does indeed have a fist. So I would not rule out Yorozu getting punched directly in the face by this thing. These are the astute observations of Quirkle Shinobi. I have a feeling that next chapter is going to be used to further explain the abilities of the Mahoraga. Because the only real explanations we ever really get of the Mahoraga's power are from Sukuna himself and his observations in his like 5-minute fight with the thing. Because an untamed version of the Mahoraga killed a 6-size Limitless user, or at least that's what was heavily implied. And I don't know why, but I have a sneaking suspicion that this thing wasn't just slamming itself into the infinity wall on repeat. So while Yorozu is probably the most well-equipped person to deal with this thing, in theory, outside of like a one-shot Hollow Purple. If that would even work. Like, I feel like it would, and most people seem to think it would. But to be honest, we really don't know it. Like, Mahoraga literally has hacks. It has a Dharma Chakra that just, like, produces hacks floating around it. This thing literally spins to win. So my prediction is that Yorozu is actually going to perform pretty well against the Mahoraga. And then either Sukuna is going to be like, enough games, and then take the gloves off and just use his technique. Or the Mahoraga itself will pull out something new. Now, something interesting would be, what if the Mahoraga has a curse technique? This is pure speculation from me, but it would be kind of funny if a Shikigami had a curse technique. But if any Shikigami were to have a curse technique, it would be the Mahoraga. Now, there are a lot of reasons why it wouldn't or couldn't have a curse technique, but I just think it's an interesting thought. But those are my thoughts on Yorozu versus Sukuna and the Mahoraga. She is going to get smacked, but she is going to smack back. And she is going to die horribly. There's a small chance that she'll live, but like, what's she really going to do if she lives? Is she just going to tag along with Sukuna as more comedic relief? And her ability is really strong and has the potential to be really cool. But the way she uses it so far is pretty vanilla. That could change next chapter, but I really think for the most part, she's just going to make like stabby constructs. But maybe she'll just go full Walter White and start combining chemicals to make bombs. If she spits out 2 types of bug chemicals that combine to create like cursed energy bug bomb, and then it explodes into more bugs. I mean, it doesn't have to be bugs, but it seems like Yorozu likes bugs. So I really think we should be expecting something bug related. Maybe Yorozu can create bugs. Maybe Yorozu can create life. On this channel, we ask the real questions. And I want to ask you what your opinion is. What do you guys think is going to happen to Yorozu? Do you think she's going to get murdered by the Mahoraga? Or last a whole chapter? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like videos like this, subscribe for more. And as always, thanks for watching.